Popular music and music around the world tends to be tonal. So melodies and harmonies are arranged around one particular pitch, and that pitch is called the tonic. And then we take a bunch of pitches and arrange them with steps and formula, and that makes up a scale. There are many different types of scale, but today I want to go over one of the most important scales, and that is the major scale. Because so many songs come from the major scale, so many chord progressions come from the major scale, so many solos, the blues come from the major scale. So the major scale is incredibly important to know and learn, and I want to show you what makes up the major scale. So we take our tonic, and then we're going to go with this formula. The formula is whole. Now a whole step, that's when we go from 2 frets away from the original note. So if we're going to start on C, so the first note is C, so a whole step from C is D, because we're skipping, that's 1 fret away, and then 2 frets. So that's a whole step. A half step would just be the note right next to it. So if we have C as our starting note, if I set a half step, it would be C sharp. But a whole step would be D, because it's 2 notes away from C. So the formula for the major scale is whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So here's our whole from C to D, then from D to E is another whole, then we have our half from E to F, then we have from F to G, that's a whole, G to A, whole, A to B, whole, and then B to C, half. So it's whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Now we can do the scale vertically or horizontally. You should practice both ways, really. You should practice scales all over the fretboard. So we can do it this way. Or like I did it originally. So you want to practice that formula, because that formula is so crucial. I did the C major scale, and the notes in the C major scale are C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and it repeats. And that's a C major scale. But we can start around a different tonic. So let's start on D. And so with the same formula, it's D, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. Okay, so that's something incredibly important to practice. And you've probably heard in school before do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That comes from the major scale, because 1 is do, 2 is re, 3 is mi, 4 is fa, 5 is sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So you've probably heard that before, and it's good to practice this, like I said, vertically, horizontally, all over the fretboard. You want to know the notes in the scales, like how I knew the C major scale was C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. You want to do that for every scale, including ones that are usually more troublesome for people, like a C sharp scale. So C sharp, D sharp. So it's C sharp, D sharp, F, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, and then C, C sharp. So later on, I'll teach you about modes and all that stuff, but you have to get familiar with the scales, the formula, whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. You have to understand what a whole step is and a half step is, but it's pretty easy. And it's just a matter of practice and practice and practice and practice. And I'd say the major scale is a good place to start before you start learning other scales and other modes. Start with the major scale because it's a really important scale, and there's scales within that scale, and those are called modes, but we'll learn about that later. So just practice, 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 and you can do this. Good luck.